Hello guys. Has been a long time with I've been busy, so no videos and nothing. It's just life gets in the way. So I have been doing this stuff, peeling off the paint, because I'm going to show you here, if I don't trip between all my mess here. I finished the interior. When I said finish, it's because I put the seats covers on. I put the new leather on the door panel trim pieces. So, carpet is installed, washed, everything is cleaned up, and the camera is installed. Although, I need to glue it again. Vapor barrier is in, not vapor barrier, but water barrier, whatever it's called. Cabling, the stereo is installed and everything. So I needed to install the console. And so my console, someone actually painted it. And actually, I think they peeled off the metal because I scratched it. It was scratched, and you can get into the metal. So, to the plastic. So that means that it's all ready to go. So I sanded it with Scotch-Brite red pad. So it's ready for primer. And so then the door pieces were bubbling, so I remember finding this thread in NSX Prime about using ferric chloride, this guy, to melt the copper lining that this thing has, and it does work really well. It's just this had been there for like 2 weeks. Few days don't work. It's like it takes, like, I would say maybe 5 days for kind of get under the coating and start peeling off the corners, and it gets rid of everything. This thing was there for about a week and a half, and basically pretty much everything came off like this. All the rest of stuff there is like you can just clean it with your hand. It's so weak that you can just peel it off like that. Some of them are a little bit more sticky, but they come off right off. You see, just the whole thing comes off, and that's what you end up with. And this is metal, see. So it works really well. The only problem is that what I realized is that the passenger side, the metal lining thing was actually holding this piece together because it was actually cracked. Maybe I cracked it when I took the vent off. Most probably that was me. So what I'm going to try to do is to glue it together, with kind of like mimicking the hot staple thing for plastic weld, I should say. So I'm going to try to do that and see if it works, because the vent goes in here. So as long as this looks straight, it shouldn't move and shouldn't break. I bought from another NSX Prime member from Canada a set of these pieces that he took to get carbon fiber wrap, but they end up really, really bad. And he gave me a good price for it, so I decided to buy it because I don't know if the gluing is going to work. And the tabs here are broken in the one that he sent me, but this is very easy to repair compared with this, which is very thin. So I'm going to give it a try and see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat up a needle, and I'm going to put the needle inside here, and then I'm going to put this piece, heat up the needle again red hot, and then I'm going to put the needle inside. The plastic inside the needle, so it's going to be held by 2 needles here, by 1 needle, and I will do the same with this piece, but the only difference is I'm going to melt the needle here to hold it, and I will use some glue, like super glue maybe, or something to just hold it together. And hopefully that will work. I don't know what type of plastic this is, so it might be tricky to glue it. I do have some plastic polyurethane or whatever type of glue and a structural adhesive for bumpers and stuff like that I can use, but it takes a little bit to. I mean, you can't really glue pieces like this. I will have to bevel it and all that to glue it together and then sand it, and it might not work even then. So I'm going to try the needle, and hopefully that will hold it together. So yeah, but yeah, this thing is like, I need to just clean up this, which comes off with the scraper, with the blade. But it really works. One thing that I did notice is that for some reason, some areas will, I can't remember if this was me or not, but I was trying to, with a heat gun, to remove a little bit of the plastic, and I think I melted a little bit of the plastic, so it's a little bit bubbly. So I think it was me, but it could be something that the ferric chloride did, but it doesn't matter, because at the end you have to prime it with some primer for plastic or whatever. It doesn't have to be for plastic, but I do have this high build primer. It doesn't say plastics, but I'm going to use it with an adhesion promoting thing, what it is called. Have this guy here, it's called Sand Free. Works in plastics. I have a SEM cleaner too, which is this. Ouch! Which is this guy. So I use this, and then I use the Sand Free. Sand Free kind of melts the plastic a little bit, and then you put the primer, and the primer actually sticks really well to it. I have used that before, and actually works really well. It doesn't peel off after years. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean these off. This one came pretty good, except for this part. This is stick pretty well in. So I'm going to have to maybe sand it a little bit, but it's bubble under it in many places, so it shouldn't be that bad. And then I'm going to prime them, and then I'm going to paint them and see how they come up. But yeah, it's far. I mean, if you can wait the 2 weeks, this is way faster than trying to sand it, heat it up, or with a X-Acto knife trying to get the copper thing lining out, and plus you will damage and scrape it, and like this surface is almost ready for primer, so just cuff it a little bit and you're done, except for these bubbling areas here that will need a little bit more sanding. This one, for example, here was bubbled a little bit. In this area you can kind of see the little holes that it builds up. I don't know if that was like that before. I'm not 100% sure, but this area was really bubbly and not flat, and now it's pretty flat after like 10 minutes of sanding. So it doesn't take that long. I think it's going to take me more to sand these two switches holes than actually sanding this area here. So yeah, it's just a matter of, like, you know, doing the right prep, and you will and it will look really nice. So yeah, so it's all, I'm going to keep at it and then show you the prime pieces. Hopefully the glue is going to work, which I'm the most concerned part for me is that, because there's two pieces. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Anywho, I will keep working at it and we'll show you the update. So here I am, ready to paint the interior trim pieces. A lot of work to get out all the metal things and all that, but the acid worked really well. What is it called? Ferric acid, ferric chloride, I think. I'll show you this earlier. Here it is. Ferric chloride. Worked really well. Sadly, my passenger side was in really bad shape. It had actually broken here and here, so I did try to fix it. Ouch! But I kind of ran out of fiberglass resin. But basically this is how it looks like after I try to fix it. So this is one piece here that was a needle. Now I have a plastic welder that a friend lent to me. Could have been easier, but this is very thin, so you see. So I put a little bit of fiberglass resin here. I mean, it's holding up. I can sand it a little bit more and then fill it. This is a fiberglass new piece. Basically all this here is new. There's nothing, there's no plastic there, and it worked out pretty well. It has to be shaped, obviously, but you know, I did the lip and the front, so you know, basically I had to sand here and do more shaping, then more sanding, more shaping, more sanding, more shaping. So what happens is that I decided, well, if I can find a piece cheap enough so I can use these so I don't have to repair this because it's so flimsy, I contacted the group in Canada, and someone sent me this. So this is still has the metal coating in it. I'm not going to remove it because it's actually not bubbling at all, which is a good thing. And this one is a bit bent here in the same area that this one broke here. Well, almost. This one is broken here. That one is broke, it's kind of cracked here. But what is holding it is a metal thing. It's actually, sorry, it's actually broken here, not there. So broken here, this side here. You can see the crack there in the metal there. But it's fine. I sanded it over and all that. It's fine. This thing is basically going to be pushed like that, and you will not see that. It's not going to crack the paint or anything, so it's totally okay. So since this is not bubbling and it's holding all these pieces, and this is so flimsy and so thin, like I don't want to use it, the broken one, so I'm going to use that one. The only problem with this one is that the tabs in the back are broken. But since my friend lent me the plastic weld, I'm going to basically take the tabs off that one, put them here, and that's about it, because it's compatible plastic, and so it's going to work really well. And these little tabs here are broken, a bunch of them. In mine, they're broken too. I think pretty much all of them are broken. You see, there's like 2 alive there. But it's still in better shape, and it's in one piece still. So I'm going to use this one. This was repainted by someone. They actually removed the plastic, so this is ready to paint. I just need to clean it. So I'm ready to. This is looks bad, but it's actually ready for paint. All that yellowish is going to come off with the cleaner. That's a little bit of the ferric acid that has to come, but this is all sanded with 220. I have this high build primer I'm going to use for it, and basically the way this works is that the same products are awesome. So you clean it up with plastic leather prep. There is a same soap that you can use. They mention it here. That one, same soap. So you wash the parts first with the same soap, let them dry, and once they're dry, you do a wet coat of this, clean it all up. This is the cleaner. It cleans all that, gets all the grease out, and then you put the sand free, and you put the sand free in all the parts, and then actually you paint when it's wet, and basically that sucks the color in. But since I'm going to paint primer, which is not self-etching or anything like that, I'm actually going to use that so that the primer sucks into the plastic and it gets embedded, so that if for whatever reason I have to repaint them again, you know, there's a good base. I'm not going to paint them with color. This needs to be primed and sand, because otherwise there's a lot of things that are going to show up with the primer that I will have to sand and all that. So I'm going to give it a coat of primer, and then I'm going to resand them again. See, there's a few low spots here, for example, and so on. So I might fill those up, and then once they're all flat, and then I'm going to paint them. So This is the first coat, which is the most important one for having a good base. So that's what I'm going to do, and yeah, so I will show you the results. What's up, guys? Another update of the interior pieces. So I wanted to do a video about this only because I guess it's a common thing in the NSX. I've seen pictures that, you know, this piece that goes under the glove box is broken because there's a tab behind it here, and that tab, you know, when people pull it, the thing just basically just snaps in pieces. So mine broke in 3 pieces. It was broken already when I got the car, so I'm repairing it. So I use a plastic welder thing. This is nothing special. It's like very cheap, and I'm plastic welding this in place because I'm actually going to fiberglass this whole thing. That's a fiberglass cloth I use. Same with this. Remember that this is the other piece that the tabs were broken, so those tabs I actually cut them from that piece, plastic weld them here, and now I'm going to fiberglass all around them and make them really thick, so that they have good support and they should hold. Fiberglass resin with some fiberglass should hold there. Yeah, and these are ready to paint, but I need to glue the tabs. So I make these little tubes of tape that basically are going to guide the fiberglass down there, and they're kind of like in the angle that I need them. So anyhow, I might actually use, I'm going to check now, I have actually polyurethane tubes that I think they're going to fit inside here, so on top of this one. So this one will fit inside, so I can put them in, use this as guides, and use fiberglass resin to glue them together. I think I might do that. I'm not sure, but we'll see. And this, I'm going to fiberglass the whole thing. I don't care about the shape. I would just shape it after, because obviously this is not leveled. And I'm going to make basically the tab shape here for the tab, because I actually have the broken tab, the metal piece. So I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to shape it later. So that's the project here. I want to show you what looks like when you repair something. So this is the glove box. You know that some people, when I asked for how much they wanted to sell it for, is like $600 for a bloody glove box. So I was not happy about that. So therefore I made my own. So well, not made my own, but I had millions of pieces when I bought it from my friend, and a bunch of pieces of the glove box. This is super brittle plastic. Well, now it's not anymore. It's backed up by fiberglass. And so what I did is that I put fiberglass behind here. See, it's not pretty, but who cares? So basically I put a piece of sheet metal behind it here, clamp it against it, and then I build the shape that is supposed to be, because I did have this plastic piece here, so the shape going from here to here, I have that piece, so I had a guide of how what is the angle here. So I made almost the same angle here, and that's how I did it basically. So I am going to put one more layer of fiberglass, but now I'm going to actually extend it all the way here, so connect this together. This is a little bit of a steep angle, so I'm going to like basically add more fiberglass to it, and that's about it. And then I will basically what is it called, put fiberglass body filler that I bought, like thin strand. So I will put it here to make all this flat again, because this is too deep, so I need to make it a little bit. I just want to put one more layer of fiberglass here, so there is a back, and this is backing it up, and then the top will reinforce it basically. So yeah, so That's how I did it. You could do this, like, imagine if you lose all these tabs here, all these pieces are broken, and you just have this huge hole. You can still do it because you can put it in the car, you can build it up. You see the angle there? So you can build it up, and then with fiberglass resin, and then you just shape it with a grinder or one of those super aggressive discs, and then paint it. And well, and then some people say, oh, well, are you going to put this, what is it called? I can't remember the name of this thing. Flock? No, it's I can't remember, but they sell it. They sell the gun to apply it. It uses a hot glue gun with the dusty thingy, flocking thingy, whatever it's called. I am not going to do that because I'm not going to spend $300 on replacing this material. Look how ugly it is. Well, obviously after 30 years. So what I am going to do is I'm going to actually find a way to lift this up with some chemical. I'm guessing that I can soak them in paint thinner or something. So I'm going to remove it all out of here. You see, this is kind of like the material. It's basically paint, but it has this is a hot glue, I think, with the basically that dusty thing that, for the life of me, I can't remember the name now. I actually did research about it and all that, so you can buy the whole thing for like $400 US, which is a lot of money. In that case, I just buy another Glovebox. So I have texturized paint, which I like it a lot. It's a SEM product that I have somewhere here in my mess. But anyways, it's a texturized paint from SEM, and it leaves a really nice texture. And I don't like this thing. I just never liked this. I find it really old-fashioned. So I'm going to peel it off and then sand it and paint it. You know, I had to fit it obviously and all that, and because I need to make sure this is not too thick and the angle is fine and the door opens and all that. So once all that's done, then basically I'm going to make it pretty and redo the finish with the texturized paint, which actually looks really nice when it's done. So I'm going to have a Glovebox again, which is actually not falling apart, and it's going to last much longer. So you will see an update on this. So for now, I'm going to finish this because I really want to put the interior back again. Now that I have all these pieces ready for paint, everything is ready for. I think I put like 6 coats of paint there. Because, well, not really, like 3 or 4. Because there were some scratches that showed up with the paint. I didn't prime that piece. It was done by someone else, so I found some defects. So, and I found some defects after too. Even though I sanded with 600, I made a mistake. So I find all those things, and the hardest part actually was this part here. This thing inside was actually a huge pain. Why? Because sanding this is terrible, and plus, like I said before, with the chemical, there was a little bit of lifting of the plastic. The plastic was soft under this, so shaping this back with no sanding marks is basically super hard. It's not impossible, but super hard. So at some point, I think I'm going to get fiberglass of this thing and paint them over. Carbon fiber. Or, well, if someone makes a fiberglass, I would take them, but they have to be perfect. Anywho, so the thing is, what I did is basically I flooded all this area with paint and left it dry for many days, and then I sanded. So that was my trick. So these things were, you still see a little bit of, you see those little holes there? Yeah, so that is 1,000 times better than it was before. So those little holes, oops, my phone doesn't want to focus. Come on, focus. Nope. Doesn't want to focus. But anyhow, those little dots there, and that let me see if I, there, you see that like porosity there, and that's after many coats of paint. And so once it's paint, you don't really see it much. Even the sides, there were bubbles, holes, little holes here in the side too. So now it looks pretty good. You see those kind of like little holes, but it's not a big deal. So anyhow, so it took a long time to get it to here. Plus there was a nick in here. So this actually has a bondo in here in the side. So anyhow, so yeah, so now they are ready. So I can put the interior together, and I got the Mira Motorsports tweeter for the corner of the doors that I need to pick them up. I just got them. I need to pick them up in the PO box anyway. So I'm doing that later and put it all the interior together. I have a bunch of videos about the interior that I'm going to upload anyhow. But this is part of the process. I've seen a lot of people with these problems with this bubbling and all that. Is a real pain. Like if you have the money to buy the new pieces, I would say just buy them. I don't, and plus I have all the materials and tools to do this, so I do it. But if you have the money to pay $375 US for each side, just do it. Who cares? And the Euro Boutique, I think they are $600 for the carbon fiber ones. That's a lot of money. So if I had the money, I would buy them, but I don't like fiberglass. Fiberglass, carbon fiber. I don't like carbon fiber look. I don't. I'm one of those people. So I will paint them. So then again, doing the work. So in that case, better to buy the originals. Anyways, so that's it. I am going to finish this up. To be honest, it didn't take me this long. It's like if I had a weekend to do this, I would finish it in one weekend. But I don't have all the weekends, so, and not many hours, so it's hard for me to like work on all these things at once. Plus, my work is really busy right now, so it's hard. Anyhow, I'm a weekend warrior. Can't do much with about time. If I could buy, I would buy, but I bet you it's going to be expensive. Anywho, I will update you guys later. Bye. Hello guys. So another interior update. So finally I got my gun, spray gun, clear coat and all that, and I painted the pieces. So I have been doing a full, well, not full reform. The door cards are there. I have fixed some of the foam for the doors before putting it together. I disassembled this piece here because the foam inside of here, the flap, is all broken up and old. So I made templates and I cut new pieces. So passenger driver's door is done and it's assembled. And I'm gluing this piece to that piece in the driver's side together. And at the end, I end up having to go gray metallic, graphite grade metallic, because I guess they ran out of that color. And so I painted graphite gray metallic, and then I bought a gallon of Speedo coat, clear coat from Amazon. It's like $100. And I have an Iwata LS400 spray gun with a clear coat nozzle, and it's an amazing gun. And this is how it looks like. There is a dust particle there, but look how flat it is. It's like a mirror. See that? It's beautiful. It's like a mirror. Super nice, super flat. I mean, if it wasn't for that dust, you can basically, just put it on, but if this is scratches or whatever, the cool thing about that is that I can sand it and buff it if I wanted to. So this will protect the base coat. It made it a little bit more shiny than I wanted, but the car is dark inside, so it's not going to look tacky or anything. I think it looks really, really nice. It came out really nice, super nice. Look at that. So I'm having challenges with these pieces. It's a real pain to put them together when all the tabs are broken. So I'm putting glue on the pieces and so on, and have to clamp them down. But the clear coat is not super hard right now. I have one run there. So yeah, I'm not ultra happy about the whole process, because I really wanted to drive the car this weekend, but now I can't because I need to wait for this to get harder a little bit. I did clamp down, put tape around and clamp down the driver's side, so I'm hoping that the glue is going to hold it, and I can put it in the door. The console was different than the door pieces, and the console looks really nice too. I checked for dry spots and things like that, and it looks really, really nice. So yeah, I really, really like how it came out. It's pretty nice. Whoop, no, come on phone, don't do that. Super nice. So yeah, I mean, at least now, for the first time, or well, for I don't know how long, the car will match all the colors. These pieces were a lot of work. It's way too much work to get them done. I mean, I would have bought, I think, the original pieces will not match the console or whatever, but at least, you had to do all that work. For the price of the pieces, is like $350, whatever, each side. I would say that if you find the driver's side without the buttons for like $350, I think it's worth it to just buy it new if they sell it. I don't know if they sell it. I have seen in Mita Motorsport, but I don't remember if it was the passenger or driver's side that was $350 or whatever. So it's a lot of work to get to here. And in total, I will say I spent that maybe $300 on all the materials and all that to get all this done. So it's kind of like, maybe I should have bought the brand new one. It's half of one. For the price of one, I did all these pieces. So, anyways, but I have the tools. So anyhow, I think that they come out really good. I mean, they're not perfect. There is those dust particles. I could get rid of them later. I just want to get this together. The interior has been apart for months. Now the weather is finally getting better, so it's time to drive it. So yeah, so I'm going to finish up the passenger door, put that one together. The problem is that these ones were cracked here, so it's very easy for the crack to show, but it's so small that it looks better still than actually having the bubbles in there. So I'm going to finish up that and put it together, and then I will show you when everything is assembled inside. Hi guys, this is another update of the interior. So I finished interior, put it all together. This, in a previous video I said, oh yeah, I have this ready. It was painted before, whatever. I ran a scotch pad through it and so on. So I painted it, and so this is the color I painted at the end. So this is gray metallic, graphite gray metallic, and then I put a clear coat, 2K clear coat. They came out really nice. Although this is not a satin clear coat, which kind of like the finish of the original in the NSX. Since that every single piece matches, it looks really nice. But this is actually a chunk that came off here. So what happens is with the sun, this thing start bubbling everywhere here. So the paint that was here actually was not prepped correctly, and I didn't prime it. So obviously what happened? Solvent popped, and basically I had bubbles everywhere here. One day of like 30 degrees Celsius weather, and that was it. And you can tell here, like this is the back of the paint. That's the old paint. That kind of shiny one is the old paint. That's actually where it didn't stick at all. So all that was bubbling basically. All those shiny spots were bubbling because it didn't stick to the old paint. So, and this is how thick it ended up being after all the coats I put, instead of putting a primer in it. That was my mistake, really bad mistake. So anyhow, but it's pretty damn flexible. It doesn't break. Anyways, and it was actually soft in the bottom. So I basically, what I did is I sanded with 150. I'm doing it with 240 by hand now, and all the edges and all that. And I actually scraped the paint. I actually cut these pieces. They were so thick. The black paint under this, which is the paint that was here, was so thick that I could actually scrape it and cut it through. And that's how these pieces came out, basically. Which is crazy. So anyhow, lesson learned. I screwed up. And now I have to, I spent, I don't know, 2 hours sanding this again. Now this is actually the plastic, no more paint. So it's black plastic. And I'm ready to clean it and prime it with that primer, which is plastic primer. So I'm going to use that instead of the other one that I had, which is a 1K primer, but I don't have any more of it. So I'm going to use that, and that's, I think, a better product for this anyways. So yeah, you know, the lesson of the story, I guess. But I will finish this up. I'm going to clean it, and then I will paint it, and then I will show you how it looks like.